I have a couple projects I'm going to be starting underneath the car here. The first one is I noticed that some of this, the wire loom is fraying. You can see right up here, the protective sheathing is starting to fray and decay. The wire looks decent underneath, although it's dirty. So I'm going to disconnect all these zip ties all the way down as far as I can. See, it's frayed right here, pretty bad, where it's been rubbing. And if you follow it along underneath the car here, I'm going to disconnect, take off all these retaining clips here, and then pull down. You can see right here, it's frayed away pretty good, and it's just bare wire. So I'm going to take apart all these retaining clips all the way around as far as I can go, and then it goes up into the engine bay, obviously up there. And then what I'm going to do is I've bought some new protective sheathing that I will wrap around the wires, and I'll redo the whole thing. Okay, so I took off all the clips. There was up there. There was just some zip ties, zip tying it to the fuel line up there. There's another zip tie over here, attaching it to the brake line here, and then down here there was another zip tie. Under here, I disconnected one half of these underbody brackets, and I just swung it off to the side. And then I took the wire out. The wire's just kind of hanging here below the vehicle, and I reconnected this clip so that the brake cables and the fuel line won't hang, and put pressure on any joints. And so yeah, it's on here, disconnected, all disconnected along here. This one right here might be a problem. It's right next to the torsion bar. It's very hard to get to. I think it is just kind of a softer metal that's just kind of folded into place and holds all the bundle of brake and fuel and wires in there. I can't see how to disconnect that other than cutting it or getting a screwdriver on top and kind of peeling it back. So I might end up leaving that one on and just kind of stopping my new wire loom up here somewhere, and then doing it from there back. But if I can figure out how to do that, then I'll go all the way up into the engine if I can, and replace the whole thing. But I'll let you know if I can figure out how to get this one off. Okay, this is a slow and careful job, so I've been using just a pair of wire cutters and just slowly going along, getting the tip of the cutters just underneath the sheathing, and then snip off a little bit and go along it like that. I've been able to uncover all the wire pretty much from the front all the way to here. I left a small little section in the middle just to hold the wires together as I work. But nearly completed, and then I'll do some minor cleaning up of the wires with a rag or something, and then I'll show you how I'm putting it all putting the new sheathing on. Okay, so I've started putting on the new wire loom, and what you do is basically you separate it where you're going to start the attachment, put it around, get about 2 inches worth around and started, and then if you just hold it kind of together as you feed the wire loom up the wires, up the wiring harness towards the termination point where you want it to stop, it'll feed itself on. So I'm just going to keep pushing the wire loom on from this end, and it should kind of wrap itself around as it gets fed up to that point. And then I'm gonna wrap it around this joint here. There's the 2 wires coming out for the fuel pump, and then I'll wrap the remainder around. Okay, well, I got the entire wiring bundle sheathed in a brand new Loom cover, and all the way up to include all the way to up in the engine compartment. And the biggest pain in the butt was this one connection point or clip right here, because it's right behind the torsion bar, and there's little to no room to get the I think it's a 10 millimeter, actually it's a 7/16, I should say 7/16 back in there in order to get it out and then tighten it back up. But right now I'm refurbishing the fuel line right here. So I got a brand new fuel line on there, and I covered it with some of the same wrap. The original one was covered in a wire mesh wrap, but the fuel line I have was covered in a cloth wrap, and I just covered that cloth wrap with this plastic sheathing, the same thing that I use for the wiring bundle. So I'll connect that, and then the next thing to do is just I'm just cleaning up all the clips, taking off some of the gunk and repainting them, and I'll just put them back up in here. And the only other thing left to do is just put a wire loom back up into place when that's done, and reconnect the fuel line. And then I'm also working on on the other project simultaneously to put the fuel filter, or the fuel pump, I should say, the new fuel pump in line with the old SU unit. Alright, well, I got it all complete. The wiring loom is all set and done, and looks much better. All the way back to the new pump, which is wired in, and then the loom goes up all the way out into the hatch. That's it. Easy job. Nothing to it.